Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's January 19th, 2024. I'm a little tired. Didn't get much sleep last night. Bird kept me up. But I thought what I'd do today is just spend a couple of minutes talking about some FUD. FUD, F-U-D, stands for fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And this is the topic I'm going to talk about is Tesla and Elon Musk and all. And so, as many people see in the media right now, electric vehicles piled up at charging stations, people waiting hours trying to get charged, get their vehicle charged, waiting in line and all. And I think that there are circumstances that can lead up to this. And the big thing is, owners of electric vehicles need to be educated about how to manage, properly take care of their vehicle. They need to know, geez, what's too low of a charge state to have the vehicle in, especially in cold weather, that they're not going to get as great a range during cold weather, especially if like when Thea and I are driving. Thea loves that heat blasting, loves her seat real high. I have the seat, I'll have it on high initially, but we're having a cold spell here in Oswego, New York. Not as bad as what they're experiencing in some of the other parts of the country, because we're next to Lake Ontario, and that's like a big thermal battery. It doesn't allow us to get quite as cold, but it gets well below freezing, and we have really high wind speeds here as well. So the way the media portrays it is just like they used to portray, battery fires. They're very infrequent. It's usually due to not to people, but to poor assembly and poor battery management systems. And certainly the Bolt had many recalls and all. And it wasn't Chevy's, General Motors, not solely their fault. It had to do with their battery manufacturer as well. And I've talked about battery management systems in the past, and that's a key thing when you're looking for an electric vehicle or electric tool and all. The battery management system is so important for the longevity and the potential loss of power and energy from the battery source. So recently, there are things that all of us need to be aware of when it's cold temperatures. Whether you drive a gasoline or a diesel or a electric vehicle, the range is going to be decreased. Now it's much more profound, the decrease in a battery electric vehicle, because you're also heating up the battery to maintain it at optimal temperature for operating the motors and operating the battery itself. You're heating the inside of the cabin. You're heating the seats. You're doing all the electronics with it as well. Although it is a very efficient system, like the Teslas are. And I forgot to mention here, because I tried shooting this before I got a phone call. Thea and I are invested in Tesla as a company, and we have a Model Y, which is a 2020 Model Y that we've had over 3 years, and it's been absolutely fantastic. Thea's off running errands right now with the Model Y, and so realizing, like for us, I've mentioned this in previous videos, we don't let the charge get below 20%. We don't charge it over 80% charge. We keep it plugged in at home. We've never gone to a supercharger yet, so one of these days we will, but we manage our, we'll put a couple hundred miles on the car in a day, but we still have plenty of range when we get home. The range is decreased when we're driving in slush, when the traffic is your stop and go because there's an accident in front of you and all, up ahead of you rather, and it's bitter cold outside, so the range is being decreased. You're using heat to heat the cabin during that whole time. So it's being aware of these things that really can help to plan, and certainly if you don't want to leave your vehicle on a low state of charge, just like you really shouldn't leave your vehicle like an eighth of a tank of gasoline in it either, and just hope that everything's going to work out when you get to the gas station and all. An emergency could happen, and you may have to take a different route and not get to that gas station. So things happen in life, so always preparing yourself for the unexpected and having as much of a charge state, and realizing during very cold weather, towing something, carrying large loads, in your vehicle, those are all going to decrease the efficiency of the battery. So, and a lot of hoopla has been made on over the media recently, and that's a lot of it. Tesla is the most American-made vehicle that there is. And you would think that the media would be pumping up and being behind Tesla just for that reason alone. And even the President of the United States has called out GM and said, geez, you led the way with electric vehicles, and nothing could be further from the truth. So there's, at times, as you sit here, and the more you're aware of the general information that's being purported by the media and all, like, it's not uncommon for us to hear people say, well, when do you think you're going to have to replace the battery in the vehicle? And maybe if we have the vehicle for over 20 years, maybe we'll get a replacement of the battery, but that doesn't go into trash like a lot of people think it goes into a landfill or whatever. The batteries are being recycled, and they're getting over 95% of the materials back out of the batteries at this point as well, and they go right back into use into the next battery system. And many of us, like myself, I may end up, if we end up replacing a battery, or I may purchase someone else's used battery for part of the power backup system for one of the buildings, or for our whole home here as well. So it isn't like these are your ever-ready batteries, and you're just going to toss them. They should all be recycled, and the efficiency of recycling is so high that in the future, when we have so many more batteries in the future, so many more battery electric equipment, that we won't need to do any more mining as a result. Or if there is mining, it'll be minimal. So those are the couple of things I wanted to say about that, about the fear, uncertainty, and doubt about the whole electric vehicles have a really hard time in the winter. The Model Y, fantastic traction. The Teslas are the safest vehicles on the road. If you get in an accident, there's more of a chance that you're going to walk out of it alive and uninjured than any other vehicle. They don't roll over like many other vehicles will. If you've been driving for a while, you've seen vehicles flipped over. They go off in a ditch and they end up on their roof of the vehicle. So, and with the autopilot, it'll intervene for us. So when we're on the highway and somebody starts to cut us off, and I've got it in autopilot, it'll back right off the bat and alert me of what's happening, even if it's in my blind spot that I can't see that someone's coming into my lane because they're on their cell phone. So, and that's happened several times. So I'd say that the safety aspects and the efficiency of the vehicle, and we're fortunate enough here that we charge at home and we have our own solar panel arrays, so it doesn't cost us anything to drive the vehicle, which is really fantastic. But right here in our location, it's 17 cents per kilowatt hour. So if you're charging at home, and I realize that some people don't have the ability to charge at home, but there are many people that have the ability to charge at home, and that would be the most economical way of managing your battery system. So I won't go on that anymore. So recently, on X, formerly known as Twitter, someone had written, and I don't remember, and I didn't bring it up on the screen behind the camera, something about that, Elon has about 13% of Tesla shares. Several months ago, Elon sold some shares to pay taxes, and sold some shares to have the money to purchase Twitter, which is now X. And I think that was a good thing. Did I enjoy the dip in the Tesla shares? Because we're investors and we're in retirement, so we're not just letting it sit there. We're actually drawing some out each month to pay bills. So did I like seeing the Tesla price of shares decrease over that period of time? And it's still in a low spot right now. And this isn't advice, financial advice to anyone, but I anticipate that things will get much better over the next decade. And I'll go over that in just a second. But one of the things that's a tweet or a X, I'm not sure what you call it anymore. Someone had posted that that Elon's share count was probably about 13%, and that started a conversation. And Elon made a statement, and I'm sorry I can't remember the details of all this, but a statement about with the advancement. So when you, as a Tesla investor, it's much more than just battery electric vehicles. There's mega packs. These are the battery management, the battery systems that are that are in Australia, all different countries, and they're in Texas as well. And they're contributing to reduce the number of peaker plants, because those large battery systems can store the energy and can be used. And they have a way of something like net metering, but it's using your battery as, if you're someone who has a solar roof and a Tesla solar roof and the Tesla power walls, there's a way of people actually getting a kickback every month for discharging their batteries to the grid during the times when there's peak charges, and then recharging their batteries from the grid when the charges are off peak hours. And so the people just charge, they set their timer so that they'll charge their vehicles at off peak hours, and that saves them money, and they get reimbursed anyways. I'm not sure of all the details. So they have and they're building their own batteries. They're a fully integrated and build most of the components of the vehicle in-house as well. So they have less overhead. They don't have the dealership network that other car manufacturers have to deal with. So they can sell directly. So there isn't that big markup that the dealership makes on their vehicles. There's less repairs, all of these things. But when you're buying into Tesla, you're buying into a whole network of different startup companies. And so like there's the full self-driving beta right now. So where it's basically a computer on wheels that will be like a robo-taxi in the future. So that's that potential. It may never come about, but there is that potential, and it's been steadily improving over the years. Another thing that Tesla is developing is Optimus. It's a humanoid robot that's making rapid advances due to the same sort of learning system that the vehicles do, and the massive computing systems that they have that allows them to use artificial intelligence to learn from visual cues, just like the Optimus bot is doing now. So it starts off with people manipulating the robots and using control systems like a cabling system to control them initially, but the robot learns over time how to do the tasks. And so you may have seen the Optimus bot folding shirts, that sort of thing. It's not doing it autonomously yet, but it will get to that point, I think, within short order. And so I foresee that with the rapid rate of artificial intelligence development over this last, let's say, 12, 18 months, there's a lot of concern. And how this relates to the tweet that Elon said, and basically I'm going to paraphrase, is that he doesn't feel comfortable with further development of artificial intelligence businesses within Tesla without having a larger voting power. So 13% of the shares. Now, a lot of us are going to vote with Elon because he wants to use the artificial intelligence for things that benefit humanity and that will promote peace and decrease poverty, all sorts of wonderful goals, and decrease our dependence on fossil fuels and other sources like that, and to decrease our dependence on mining of rare earth minerals. So these are all goals, they're long-term goals, but artificial intelligence plays a big role in this. Tesla is not I don't see Tesla as being a car manufacturer as in the same sense as I would think of Toyota or GM or Ford. Tesla is in the manufacturing process of building the machine that builds the machine. So in other words, it's the factory. The factory is the main product. The artificial intelligence integrated into the factory so it can be more autonomous and all. And I foresee a time when people will have different forms of jobs. They won't have to do the dirty work, the dangerous work, and there'll be more precise ability. There'll be less accidents. I think it'll be a safer potential world as long as the right people are developing this artificial intelligence. And this really requires tremendous amounts of compute power. And the advancements in compute power, computational processes has been astronomical over the last several months. It's mind-boggling how quickly these things are developing. People are familiar with ChatGPT. I think that's not even an appetizer. That's just the sign on the restaurant door. There are so many different advances coming, and it has to do with who gets control over the compute power. And unfortunately, in my lifetime, I've seen where the military industrial complex has dictated things that I would never foresee us doing when I was a kid, but we've been in perpetual wars. We've had the pharmaceutical industrial complex that it's much more profitable if people remain ill and if we don't cure illnesses. And I could go on, but there's people that are more interested in separating, I would say, to diminishing the size of the middle class and expanding the size of the lower class and expanding their own wealth at the same time, at the expense of our environment, the resources, and of people's well-being, so health and well-being. And I know I'm rambling on it quite a bit right here, but I see a big threat right now with that I think that Elon is referring to without having a significant voting power by having more shares or the ability to vote the shares. Certainly there are many of us who are retail investors that have been around Elon long enough. As odd as Elon is at times, he has a peculiar personality, the things that he tweets at times and things that he says. But the core man, I'm a firm believer in what he is trying to accomplish, and that he has the greater good for humanity in mind in his as his underlying goal as well. And I think we're really blessed to have a guy like this who's not only a genius, but he puts it all on the line. He's in it 100% all the time. And what he's letting us know now is, maybe I won't do as much in the Tesla under the Tesla Corporation as I may do under another corporation that he has full control over, because he has X. That's a private corporation. He has other private corporations as well where he could do more of the artificial intelligence, where he doesn't have to worry about some, I'll just say, Dr. Evil coming in and getting the big advancements in artificial intelligence and not using it for the benefit of man to enrich the lives of people, to decrease death, disease, and hardship, increasing the health of people and their environments that they live in. So I know this is a big rambling on here, but every once in a while I get a little frustrated with some of the FUD and people being concerned and saying, making statements about Elon Musk that he just wants more money and he's just greedy and all that. I don't see him that way at all, based on what he actually does. He's a guy who I'm really thankful that he's here and that he's in America, and he's making the best American products, and he's making advances. Our space program was going nowhere. We're relying on Russia to get us to the space station. Well, that's no longer the case with Elon doing what he's doing. He's one of the biggest blessings for America, and I'm just tired of hearing some of the FUD and some of the erroneous information we hear all the time on the media. So that's it. Thanks so much for watching. Feel free to leave a comment. That's cool. If you hate Elon, you hate me, that's all right. We're just a family that's really behind Elon, and I'll do everything I can to help support him as long as he keeps going like he is going. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye-bye now.